plaintiff, Alan Bennett, says he was a drug addict for nearly 28 years. And as a result, he was incarcerated at age 21. Alan claims during that time, the Lord saved him from himself, and he has since turned his life around. Alan rented an apartment to the defendants, but he's suing them today for stolen property and damages. Defendants Roxanne Ashley and her husband Roosevelt Sweeney say they respect Alan and the fact that he turned his life around. However, after they rented the apartment from him, Roxanne claims Alan made inappropriate sexual comments about her to Roosevelt. They're countersuing for emotional distress.
Start with you.
Well, sir,
Mr. Look familiar to me?
Sure.
Do I know you?
Yes, sir, from over at your center on Greenfield.
Oh,
I gave you
okay.
a copy of my book.
Let's see it. You look awfully familiar, yeah.
Attorney, Honorable Judge Adam Shakur.
One of my former colleagues at the 36th District Court. What about him?
He was the one that referred me to come and see what you were doing.
To the community center? Okay, good. Did you go back and tell him we're doing something?
You know I will.
All right. So what do you do over there? I knew I met you somewhere.
I have an outreach ministry called Kamaya, Come As You Are. And it was rooted in the way that I believe the Lord came down in the Cass corridor and saved me from me. After acknowledging my deliverance, after being a drug addict for almost 28 years, having been incarcerated at the age of 21 with a mandatory life sentence for first-degree murder, he came and saw fit to save me. I've been delivered since April the 8th, 1997, and I've been saying thank you in every way I can.
Good. And where do you know the defendants from?
I first made Miss Roxanne's acquaintance in 2010. She was a young lady that was struggling. She had an apartment. Only accommodation was a milk crate and a TV. I installed into a unit of my two-family flat. She moved out after about 4 months. She told me she was pregnant, and we said farewell. And then 4 years later, she returned, asked for a place to stay, and she had 2 children at that time and a husband. They had no furniture, and I furnished the place, and we got off to a start. I moved in without a security deposit, just on the strength of our past relationship.
Before we get to some of the specifics regarding the damaged and or stolen property, let me allow them to give some background.
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Well, I admire Mr. Bennett and all of his work that he's doing. And when anybody ever changes their life around, it's an intense blessing. But as of right now, I can only go by the recent experience. Now, initially in 2013 of December of that month, when we signed our lease, Mr. Bennett made very salacious and lecherous remarks to my husband about when I was a young woman, what he would have liked to do to me. And he told him that I had a really nice breast and I was hot and I was attractive and I still look good. We kind of laughed it off, even though I was uncomfortable.
You were present?
He wasn't talking to me. I was in the kitchen actually looking over some paperwork.
So you couldn't hear him?
No, I heard what he said.
You just found it funny?
No, I didn't laugh. I didn't find it funny at all. I was uncomfortable, but.
Why did your husband find it?
I didn't find anything funny about it. I actually notified her.
She said laughed it off. Now I'm a little thrown off.
No, not laughed it off, kind of shoved it off, brushed it off so we wouldn't, continue our business.
Defendants Roxanne Ashley and her husband Roosevelt Sweeney rented an apartment from the plaintiff, and they claim the plaintiff made inappropriate comments about Roxanne's body.
What do you have to say about that? Disrespecting the man's wife.
Their charges against me truly confirms in my mind that God has a sense of humor. If it were not for the fact that this accusation is a bad joke, I would be driven to resort back to thoughts of the past and the kind of street retaliation that we know about.
This is highly inflammatory, highly inflammatory. And you all lived there how long?
The second time, 3 months.
Tell me about the 3 months that they moved in. When was it again?
It's about October, November.
Okay. October of 13?
Yes, sir.
Why'd they move?
their installment payment on the security deposit and the $50 was accredited towards the ownership of the furniture. Their rent was given to be $550. The second month, they didn't pay.
How about the third?
I initiated eviction proceedings since.
And what was the ruling?
The ruling was the judgment that I have.
All right, let's see it, please. And it ordered them to be out when?
10 days.
All right.
Began January 31st.
And January 31st, they were ordered to be out in 10 days. And did they move at that time?
No, sir.
All right. And how did we come about the stolen and damaged property that you're suing? How does that relate to the eviction or the non-payment?
When I returned from being out of town, I was told by my property manager that they had vacated the property and
left it damaged? All right. And so this is garbage. What other damage?
I had to paint the apartment.
You always paint walls when you get a new tenant. What else?
I had to restore and rebuild the kitchen floor.
All right. You have a bill for it?
No, I don't have receipts.
We go back to you all. Was the floor damaged when you moved?
Yeah, no, sir. The floor was dirty when we moved in. It was
not dirty, damaged.
It was damaged when we moved in.
Let's get to the stolen property you're alleging.
Okay, when they moved in, I were 4 beds, and when I returned, there was only 1 bed left. I had a dinette set that was there with 4 chairs. The dinette set and the chairs were gone. There were 2 dressers. I have photographs of the condition they left the dressers in. They were utterly destroyed.
3 beds were missing.
Yes.
And the dinette set.
Yes.
All right. What do you all want to tell me? Let me hear from you all now.
I have pictures of the 2 beds that I did take at the dinette, the table that he's referring to, if I could show you.
Why'd you take them?
Because when we went to court initially, it wasn't that he evicted us. He did not evict us. It ended up being a process of the Michigan lockout law because we moved in December the 4th.
I don't see that. You have court documents indicating that?
Yes, I have the court documents where this was the settlement that he owed us $176 and we owe him $176. So on January the 31st, the ruling was made at a 0 balance and we were asked when will we be able to be out.
You read that part you just told me about, the balance that he was to pay you. You read where it says he owed you.
That's not what happened.
No, that's what you told me. I heard you very clearly. Now, so let's move on now because you're changing your story on that. Sir, put your hand down. I was very clear. I heard what you said. Now, let's get to this property once again. That's what we're talking about right now. Did you take his property?
It wasn't his property. The judge told me that he
didn't
had
purchase
abandoned
it. Don't refer to what the judge said, ma'am. The judge speaks through orders. Now, you bought the furniture, you purchased it?
I put a $50 deposit down on it, and then I told him that we didn't want the furniture, and I asked him to come.
So why did you take it?
Because it was abandoned.
And you put $50 down for what?
For the beds. That's
so you
what I
did
wanted.
Want it?
That's all that I wanted.
You didn't take the dinette set?
I took the folding table that he said was a previous tenant's and that he didn't even want. He didn't know where it came from.
Just a second ago, you said all you took were the beds. Now you are admitting that you took a part of the dinette, ma'am.
It wasn't a dinette.
You keep contradicting yourself. I'm going to have to dismiss your claim, ma'am, and grant him his. Judgment for the plaintiff, your claim is dismissed. You've contradicted everything you said. You gave me a document, a court document that you purported to say something differently. So I could suggest that you were trying to defraud me with a court document. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day. Yes, sir. Anything else?
I'd like to ask the court to indulge me one more time.
Come on now, what?
I want it to be a matter of record that I would take them to the place where I buy my furniture and help them buy their furniture.
You're a good man, all right? Have a good day.
You know the truth, Mr. Bennett. Like I told you when you were at the door with those tenants, God doesn't like ugly, so I'm happy you prevailed. Congratulations.
I don't have anything to say to him personally because I'm just fed up and I'm glad we're done with him because he's just been a little bug in our lives and it's over with.
If you ever again come up against an old slick, when you realize that he's slicker than you, be nice.